Hello, everyone. Welcome to Progress Junior Golf with Live Sport Now and the England Golf Young Ambassadors. My name's Steve Jackson, and this is Ian Waterhouse.
Hello, Steve. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Episode 59, Steve. Can you believe that? 59. In a couple of weeks, number 60. The big, even huger number.
My usual score on the front nine.
Front nine, yeah.
Net, of course, not gross.
Yeah, on a 9-hole pitch and putt. Yeah.
That's it, yeah. Right, as you mentioned now, 59 shows, which is pretty good going. We've covered a lot of subjects during that period of time, but we've got a unique one today. Now, before I start talking about what subject we're going to be talking about, I've got a little quiz question for you then, Ian. Right, I'm going to name 6 golf clubs here, right? And you have to come up with a common theme between these 6 golf clubs then.
All right.
St Andrews.
Yeah.
Sunningdale.
Yeah.
Stockwood Park.
Yeah.
Stonebridge.
Yeah.
Staverton Park and Sherfield Oaks.
We all begin with S.
Yes. I deliberately did that to make it easy for you. What's the second connection then?
Are they to do with our guests today? Is there something linked to our guests with those clubs?
No.
No, I don't know then. Is it clubs I've broadcast at?
There's 2 of them in there, aren't there? Yes. So we're getting there.
Yeah.
Sunningdale and St Andrews you have done. So yes. Yeah. Right. It's a bit of a trick question, really, because actually the answer is the fact that they're actually all different. It's not the factor. It's the fact that they're all different. If you look at those different golf clubs, somewhere like St Andrews, obviously the home of golf, Sunningdale, which we know very well, big members club. Stockwood Park is a council-run golf club. Stonebridge is what you would say was very much, and they have been on the podcast before, the coaches there, very much junior orientated club. Staverton Park got a hotel there, so more hotel orientated.
Can I just say, Steve, how on earth was I supposed to get that?
I know. Well, I did say it was a trick question. I mean, I'm cruel to you. I know. The last one, Sherfield Oaks, though, you were correct, kind of, because that one is the one which is relevant for today's program, because that is a golf club which is run by GetGolfing. Now, GetGolfing, we're going to do a bit of a case study on GetGolfing today, because they've got 12 golf clubs around the country, and basically, I mean, if you look at their website, and I think the mission statement says everything about what they're doing. This is what their mission statement says. We are on a mission to revolutionize the golfing experience. Our unconventional approach prioritizes inclusion and participation, smashing through bureaucratic barriers that hinder enjoyment. Wow. I mean, that sounds exciting, doesn't it? The fact that it was when you read some of that, you go, I want to find out more about this. And I'm pleased to say as well, they do a lot for junior golf as well.
Yeah, they do, and that's one of the reasons coming on. And of course, there is the Festival of Golf, which we'll touch on a little bit later too. But when you talk to people, and it seems to be forward thinking. We often talk about golf, don't we? That sometimes it can be stuck a little bit. It can be a bit cliche at times. Golf, it can be sort of stuck in the olden times, but these guys are really taking it places. So check out that website there as well. Just before we do get into it as well, Steve, I will say there are a couple of links in the text accompanying the broadcast today, accompanying this podcast. One of them is to your website, Steve, Progress Junior Golf. Do check that out.com. You can see it's just running across the ticker at the bottom. Another one is to the Live Sport Now YouTube channel. So if you want to have your say today, please do get in touch. It's interactive. We can see your comments. So you've got a question for our 2 guests, want to find out more about GetGolfing, or got a question for Steve and I, please do comment in the live chat section at Live Sport Now on YouTube, and we'll pick it up straight into the studio here. The other one actually goes to the GetGolfing, the Festival of Golf, the junior section. I believe it's the page to sign up. So do check that out as well if you want to get some more information, or just to get a general overview of GetGolfing. Website's just down there, www.getgolfing.org. Steve, back to you.
But we will have 2 people on the show who will be able to explain a lot more about GetGolfing.
Don't take it from us. Take it from Lee and Stu coming on.
Absolutely, yes. So just to let you know that, so we have got Lee Williams, who is the general manager at Pyreford Lakes Golf Club. He's also the tournament project manager for the Festival of Golf, which is something that you mentioned there, which takes place a little bit later on in a few weeks' time. And also we've got Stuart Williams, not related, we have to say, to Lee, a different Williams. Which one was the better looking one? Well, that's debatable. Which one I'll leave you to decide that one,
You
Ian.
can see them both in the background, and Stu's got a big smirk on his face. Look, he's doing this now.
And Stuart is a community and development officer with GetGolfing as well. So 2 experts who know all about GetGolfing. They'll know all about the Festival of Golf, and they'll be explaining exactly what they've done in the past and what they're looking to do in the future as well. They've got massive plans, so it's really exciting to hear from them today. Right, first things first, so let's do the junior golf news then. Actually, we'll start off with an adult competition. The English Men's Amateur Championship took place at Hollingwood Golf Club. It was won by Gregor Graham from Scotland. I think it was the first time in about 18, 19 years that a Scottish golfer has won this. It was actually reduced to 48 holes. I don't know why they had 48 holes, but there we go. He won with a 9 under par score. He actually beat Dan Haynes, who you might remember in the last podcast, won the Lancashire Links Trophy. So a young golfer there in form. Staying with golfers in form, then the Welsh Open Youth Championships, that was won by Sam Marshall at Ball Bay Golf Club, won by 8 shots, so nice. A heck of a score. 3 rounds, 9 under par. He finished. Sam Johnson was second. I mentioned he was in form because he was also part of the winning team in the English Boys County Championship Midland qualifying event. He represented Cambridgeshire. We've got a photo of the winning team. Cambridgeshire won this event.
Oh, yes, we do. Hang on.
The first, yes, Slick.
Oh, we do. I've just Slick. There you go. Look, there it is.
There we go. There. So that was Cambridgeshire winning the event there for the first time. The team was Sam Marshall, Theo Morris, Joe Austin, Ellis Kerr, Sam Hewson. And you might recognise the man right in the centre there, because that's David Gamble, who's been on the podcast previously talking about golf counties. And interestingly, a couple of years ago, he was talking about how they had a match against Warwickshire, and we had Warwickshire and Cambridgeshire on talking about how golf counties and how they prepare for matches. Well, you know, you have to say how much work he's done with Cambridgeshire over the years, and got the just reward in the sense of, you know, like I say, this competition has been going on for, I think, over 50, 60 years now. And this is the first time that Cambridgeshire ever won it. And you're up against some very big counties who are playing in that competition. So congratulations to Cambridgeshire winning that. The individual title, that went to Josh Gardner from Warwickshire. So well done to Josh as well for winning the individual there. Right, staying in Cambridgeshire, because there was a big event which took place, the Lagonda Trophy, took place at Gogmagog Golf Club in Cambridgeshire. That was won by Brandon Skidmore from Cotswolds Hills. 69, 67, 70, 69. He won by 3 shots from Luke Jenkins. Another middle sort of American competition, the Oak Trophy, that took place at Kings Norton, won by Philip Crone. 74-70, won by 1 shot from Sam Haynes Coote. And Sam, 24 hours later, finished runner-up again in the Finnan Bowl at Coventry Golf Club. So we're talking about informed golfers here. So well done to Sam
as well.
Just absolutely, yeah. I think 36 holes on 2 consecutive days. So so busy and fit, and obviously pretty good at playing golf as well. So so well done to him.
Don't you just hate some people? They've got it all, haven't they?
Yes. Well, I actually know this is going to make you even more jealous. I actually know Sam, and he's a really nice guy as well. So not only has he got the fitness, the talent, he's also a nice guy to go with it as well. So
well done, Sam. Good stuff,
absolutely.
Mate.
Right, Scottish Men's Open Championship. Then we talked about the Brabazon Trophy being won by a Scottish golfer. The Scottish Men's Open Championship was won by an English golfer. We've got a photo of the winning golfer, because it was Dominic Clemens who won the competition. There he is with the trophy. It took place at Muirfield, which you might recognise there, the clubhouse in the background. Right, quiz question for you then. So how many shots did Dominic win by then? Played over 4 rounds.
Well, when you asked
144 players were playing in it, 24 different countries. How many shots do you think he won by?
Yeah, I know. But when you ask me these questions, it's normally because it's a rogue answer. You know, yes. I don't know. A sensible thing would be to say 2 shots.
2 shots. That would be the sensible option. Okay, what would be your rogue question? What rogue answer then?
10 shots.
10 shots. Ridiculous. Yeah, he won by 17 shots.
17 shots.
17 shots. He was 68. How about this for Rat? 68, 65, going into the final day, 36 holes on the final day, leading 65, 62. That is some player.
Oh,
And by the
word.
way, he's also from Cambridge. So Cambridgeshire have got some seriously good golfers coming through. So congratulations to another golfer there from Cambridgeshire. Right, staying in Scotland then. Scottish Women's Amateur Championship that took place. Lorna McClymont, a player who's been mentioned on this podcast on regular occasions. She actually finished second in the stroke play qualifying and then went through to the match play and then won the competition. So well done to her. Jasmine McIntosh was the leading player in the stroke play qualifying. Another event in Scotland was the St. Rule Trophy. That was won by Elise Fredriksson from Sweden. It's played on the new course and the old course. 69 on the new course, 73 on the new course, and then 69 on the old course, won by 2 shots from Charlotte Norton from Longhurst Hall. And Charlotte being the best under-18s golfer in the field, she picked up the Lawson Trophy. So well done to Charlotte and also well done to Elise there. Right, let's go overseas then for a couple of competitions which took place then. The Ulster Men's and Women's Amateur Championship took place over in Ireland, surprisingly enough. Incredible. I know, amazing. You wouldn't believe it, would you? The men's competition was won by Adam Buchanan, who won in the 3-man playoff, and the girls' title or the ladies' title was won by Annabelle Wilson. She won by 9 shots, a really big win for her. And finally, as far as competitions are concerned, the German International Boys and Girls Championship took place. Boys competition was won by Neo Berg from Sweden. And the girls competition obviously didn't have a playoff because it was shared between Antonio Steiner and Joanna Janiszk from Poland. Just one more photo, just one more thing to come up. We've got a photo here.
2 more things, actually, Steve. 2 more things. One from you, but let's do yours first.
Okay, well, you got the photo. Put the photo up then. And then, because this was a competition won, and Joe Sefton from Wallasey Golf Club won this competition. Now, the interesting thing about this photo, I initially looked at this and I thought, wow, what a photo with the person in the background there. And then I thought, I want to find out who this person is. Well, who do you think that person is then, Ian?
I mean, I don't know.
And it is related.
Founder of the club? I don't know.
Well, the reason why I've not mentioned the name of the competition is because it kind of gives it away, because that is a gentleman by the name of Frank Stableford.
No, really?
And he was the person who invented the Stableford scoring system on May the 16th, 1932. He did it at Wallasey Golf Club. He was watching a competition whereby adults were playing the competition, and he was noticing after a few holes they were ripping up the scorecards and things like that. And he thought there's got to be a way whereby we keep the interest going until the end of the round. So he came up with the Stableford scoring system. And in this competition, they do a Stableford scoring competition over 36 holes. And Joe Sefton there, one of the home club members, he won it with 78 points. Joe's not a junior member there, but I just thought really nice story. Because
now you mention it, Steve, I can see it is old Frankie now. Yeah. If you give me an extra 20 seconds, I'd have got that.
I'm sure you would have done, absolutely, yes. But as we well know with junior golf, Stableford is actually a really important system to use because stroke play can be quite tough for junior golfers, whereas Stableford a little bit more forgiving. You know, if you have your bad holes, you get them out of the way and you move on, kind of thing. So well done to Frank for inventing that almost 100 years ago in 1932. So well done to him. And that wraps up the junior golf news for this week. Not quite. Go on then. Give us the news.
Not actually junior golf news related as such. It is amateur golf related. I'm back on the course this Monday, Steve. I'm heading up to Yorkshire, to York, to Kilnwick Percy, because we're back with the Trilby Tour boys. You can watch it all live this Monday from 8:45 a.m. across the Trilby Tour, across Darwin Escapes and across Live Sport Now with our broadcast partners as well. So do keep an eye out for that one. I will be presenting it as well. So unfortunately, you're going to see my face for most of the day, so I can only apologise about that. But do tune in this Monday, 8:45 a.m, and you can watch the Trilby Tour Championship of Yorkshire live. And that is it.
Fantastic. Right, let's talk about the podcast then, because we've got 2 special guests coming on. We're going to be talking about proper guests. That's it, proper important people. We're going to be talking about GetGolfing then. So let's get our special guests on them, because these are 2 people who know all about it. We've got Lee Williams, who is the general manager of Perford Lakes Golf Club. And we've also got Stuart Williams, not related, who is the Community and Development Officer with GetGolfing. It's an exciting development whereby they do a lot for junior golf. So let's get the pair of them on. Good evening, guys. Who is the best looking one out of the 2 of you then?
Well, we're going to split that, I think, aren't we, Stu?
Absolutely not. Certainly not.
So probably wrong if we don't agree an amicable draw.
Okay,
We'll
fair enough.
call it a draw. We'll call it a draw.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. No playoff on this one then. No, right. Okay, right. Let's talk about GetGolfing then, because it's something which is unique in the game. Then we'll go with Stuart first of all. Then just give us, if you can, a brief overview of what GetGolfing is about and how it started.
Yeah. Okay. So GetGolfing is a charity set up in 2018 at the head office is notionally Red Libbets Golf Club down in Kent. And its founder, Ed Richardson, had a desire to do things differently. He'd had a great career in golf and golf management. And I don't think it was his intention to grow an empire. I think he would have been quite happy just with one site. But as it developed and progressed and word spread, it's grown and grown into 12 sites at the moment, and the passion is to produce really great golf courses, really welcoming, inclusive clubhouses, and breaking down those barriers for members of the local community who would never consider going to a golf club. Just that title, golf club, okay, is against our values, really, because it's a barrier.
Do you know what, Stu? I've said this for a long time, because I remember, I'll tell you both a story. I've told Steve this before, but I was up in Yorkshire. Funny enough, there seems to be a Yorkshire thing. I was broadcasting a golf tournament up there, and it was at Moortown Golf Club. And my mum lives in Harrogate. Now, I'm down south, but she's up in Harrogate, and it's not far away. It's just on the Harrogate Road. And so I said to my mum, I said, "Oh, why don't you come down, have a drink and a bit of food down at the golf club?" And her first thing she said to me was, "Oh, but I won't be allowed." And I was like, what are you talking about? You're not allowed. What on earth are you talking about? She's like, "Well, don't I have to be a member?" It's like, no, you could just walk in and have a drink if you want and some food. Of course you can. But people, the perception is you can't. The perception is, and I'll tell you something, golf clubhouses are some of the nicest places just to go do a bit of work from, or have a coffee or have a drink, aren't they? Or a little bit of, a nice club sandwich or something. People don't go there because they think they're not allowed to, when actually anybody can just walk off the street and go in for a drink, can't they?
Yeah, amazing spaces. I described one of our sites in Hertfordshire. It's one of the best beer gardens in Hertfordshire, the Mill Green site. Okay, and it's hidden
there,
and it's beautiful. My part of GetGolfing is to get new users, new members of our local communities to our sites through a massive range of different programs, from dog walks to chess clubs to art shows to music. Lee will be able to talk more about the commercial side of the business and how we attract new users through that route. But my focus is ladies, families, children, and we have some really specific target groups that we want to hit. They've got to be free school meal children or pupil premium children, or they've got to be special educational needs children, which hopefully we can talk a little bit about later.
So let's bring Lee in then here. Just explain your background of how you first was introduced to GetGolfing and how that's developed.
Sure. Well, thanks, Steve. It's a bit of an interesting story, I guess, with myself. I've been in golf now 29 years. So I spent 11 years working in the Middle East, building golf courses out there. And then was coming to the end of a tenure in a golf club in West Lancashire, just outside of Birkdale and Formby. And through one of the trustees, so obviously GetGolfing being a charitable trust, we have a group of trustees that give up their time free of charge to support the charity. Reached out and said, would I like to join GetGolfing? And my immediate response, I guess like you guys up until 2 or 3 days ago, was, what's GetGolfing? Who's GetGolfing? And they said, well, it's a charity. It operates. Back then we was probably at 11 golf clubs, I think. So there's been 3 new acquisitions since I joined. So I was introduced to Ed Richardson, who is the founding CEO, and just started from an initial conversation to what ended up being a 3 or 4 hour conversation where I managed to walk around the entire golf course that I was managing, and actually felt like we really connected in terms of what his vision was, and using golf as a vehicle to give back, really, like Stu alluded to. And then, yeah, I mean, one thing led to another. I come down, GetGolfing had just spent £2 million on Perford doing a whole new refurb. So there was an acquisition of 6 golf courses from Crown Golf originally. And I think Stu touched on it earlier, where one of the strengths of GetGolfing is they rescue underperforming golf courses. So typically the venues which we operate were on the brink of closure. So that means that they would love the memberships, the social aspect, the community aspect. So to take those venues and not only continue to operate them, but to continue operating them successfully and being real key parts of the community that we operate in, just goes to show the strength of what GetGolfing can do. So yeah, Ed asked me to join back in June 2023. And then I officially started as a GM of Perford in July 2023, and it's been a pretty fast-paced roller coaster, really, since then. But a lot of the, being extremely biased, a lot of the hard work at Perford in particular are done, because at GetGolfing there's a lot of talk about the journey from purchasing or acquiring the golf club, the initial investment into the golf course. That's always the first step. Get the golf courses up to a really good standard, and that's definitely one of the USPs, that they're accessible golf courses in the right location, but not like your typical council run operation whereby there's a significant amount of investment goes into the golf courses. So not only are people in the community playing really good golf courses, they're safe. We operate a dynamic tee sheet, so we basically have a price point for everybody that can access the golf course, whether that's at a premium time on a Saturday or it's an off-peak time on a Monday and Tuesday. So Perford is the main club in the group that's gone through that sort of 4-step cycle, from being predominantly golf focused to then a significant investment into golf course to raising it up, and then a small offering from food and beverage. And then the final part of that puzzle is the complete refurb of a clubhouse, which then turns it into much more of a hospitality venue. So Stu mentioned dog walkers, weddings, birthdays, golf days, just casual areas where people can come and enjoy.
And you mentioned there that you came in, all the golfers came in whereby they were in financial trouble. So I suppose you almost have like a free whereby you can turn around to them and say, well, it didn't work previously, so why don't you try this method? But specifically then, what ideas can you come up with whereby you can say, well, let's do this because we know that this will work?
I think, yeah. Sorry, do you want me, you or me, Stu?
Well, we can take in turns, because I'm sure we've got 2 different views on this. The thing that drew me to GetGolfing about 4 years ago was I was disappointed with what golf clubs were doing, the provision for pretty much every element of it, the fact that they were exclusive facilities and things like that. But what drew me the most was I pitched about 30 or 40 ideas to Ed when I first met him about breaking down barriers and what golf clubs could be doing. And he went away and he thought about it for a couple of months. And then he invited me to come and present to the senior leadership team. And then he offered me a job. And it was a can-do kind of attitude from GetGolfing. Like, right, here's a crazy person with loads of ideas. Right, let's unleash him and see what happens. And see what sticks, see what works. And it's that kind of thing.
What were some of these ideas, Stu? What were some of the more different ones, shall we say? Because we know, golf clubs, they'll do marketing and they'll do 2 for 1 on lesson offers, or a lunch club or something. What's some of the wackier ones out there that you pitched to Ed and he was like, actually, why not?
Well, when it comes to targeting specific groups, I'm from education. I've been a teacher for 28 years. So my passion is the provision of food, really, for children who don't get enough food, who are free school meal children, who during the holidays have a pretty rubbish time. There's not much going on for them. They're not getting great access to food. Their parents are probably working hard. Okay, they're not hanging out with friends. They haven't got an opportunity to do lots of stuff. And I said, listen, golf clubs are perfect facilities to be able to cater for that. We've got chefs on site. We have beautiful spaces. We have loads of nice staff. We have the opportunity to do some golf if we want to. But in reality, they're just safe spaces that kids can come to and be kids. And I don't care whether that's a game of Uno or a bit of table tennis or going out and hitting some balls on a range. And I pitched a random number about the number of meals that we could offer in a year. And then we doubled it the second year. And we're in line to double it again this year. And, you know, it's just his attitude got me to buy into it.
And what's your take on this then, Lee? How was your experience?
Yeah, I think I've seen, I guess there's two benefits to that. I've seen how Stu and the communities team, you know, their passion does transcend throughout the whole team. So, you know, we are a sales sort of focused business in terms of the commercials. You know, we sell a lot of golf days, we sell a lot of good experiences, weddings, etc. And the team are definitely more motivated and brought in because they realize from performing well, it gives the communities team the opportunity to give back. And as I said, I've been in the industry a very, very long time. And typically Christmas Day has been a real difficult period to feed sort of 250, 300 people, £150 a head. And GetGolfing actually opened one of their golf clubs Christmas Day for free. And, you know, this is driven by Stu and his team. And it just highlights how underprivileged some of the people are in the UK. When Stu was the one that told me that some of the kids had actually never didn't know what a cracker was on Christmas Day. So, you know, we've got chefs and staff willing to come in and giving up their Christmas, their families, because they just want to be in a position to do more. So, and then going back a few steps of, you know, when we take over these golf courses, and like I said, they've been doing golf not very well, or hospitality not very well, for a number of years. So the venues are typically on a decline. So the membership that we take over, they kind of have three options, really. They leave because they don't want to buy into what we're trying to do. They stay on for a period of time and I guess give it a go, or they really buy in and appreciate that we'll GetGolfing. You can't do the same actions and expect a different outcome. So we do have a different approach and a different outlook on golf. And when you are talking to people about their membership and they understand, you know, 20-25% of their membership is going back into the golf course as a minimum. So then they actually feel that their money's being used. Obviously, being a charity, there's no huge balloon payments for directors and trustees. So every bit of money that's generated by GetGolfing is reinvested either back into our venues, and by directly investing into our venues, the members and the customers are getting the benefit of that. But then there's also a significant amount of money. And I'm only going back to when Ed used to do a Q&A session once a year with the members. And the figure of what had been reinvested back in this year by GetGolfing was £450,000. You know, that's a significant amount of support back into communities. So yeah, I think, you know, the salespeople that I manage, the clubhouse people that I manage, the course managers, and all those that come under a traditional organisation chart, they're all brought into the why. And, you know, why are we presenting this golf course really well? Why are we going to deliver a great wedding? Why am I going to turn up and do a good shift today? It's not just about the immediate impact to the customers there. They realize it's part of a much bigger journey. And that journey is starting to get noticed. You know, it's getting noticed by people within the UK. And I think customers are also enjoying when they, you know, paying for a greenfield, they're paying for a wedding. They understand, you know, a proportion of that money is also directly going back to charity as well, and supporting indirectly people in their community. So yeah, it definitely helps connect the dots.
Can I ask what might perceive to be a bit of a silly question then, Lee? So apologies, but you do
get used to it. He does these quite often.
Yeah,
silly questions.
yeah. No, I just really want to understand because it sounds brilliant, but of course you've got to make money to invest it back into the club, of course, and then to put the dinners on and things. You know, as much as people are willing to come along and give up their time for free, you know, a potato's got to get from the farm, hasn't it, to the golf club somehow via a shop. So you do sell normal memberships, so like an off-peak membership or a peak membership, or you differentiate. I mean, you mentioned them a little bit earlier. Certainly with green fees, they'll be different. They'll be staggered. And then do you kind of prioritize, because club membership fees are membership fees. We know a club loves the membership fees. They love them on an annual or a monthly direct debit, so they can look at their bottom line and go, right, this month, this is how much we're going to come in from this amount of people who are paying us this. But they tend to neglect the secondary income as well, which I find quite remarkable. Is there more of a push on that secondary income from weddings, from what's taken behind the bar? I don't know. What other things do you do to generate money other than the obvious of food and weddings, I suppose?
I think like we have a couple of sayings at GetGolfing. One of them, we actually don't sell memberships or rounds of golf or weddings. We sell an experience. And, you know, that kind of encapsulates everything that you're saying. In when people come and have a round of golf, let's make sure it's the best round of golf, the best pre-arrival call, the best experience afterwards. So we do a few things different. So when you go into Perford, there's no trophy balls, there's no old-fashioned clubhouse designs. That was a big thing of Ed, that he didn't want people to and you know what, it does make a difference, because if people walk in and all of a sudden you almost feel that you're not welcome. If you go into any GetGolfing site, you know, the music's on from 7 o'clock in the morning, particularly Perford. There was a lot of thought process into the layout and the use of height as well. So some people sitting on high chairs, some people sitting on low chairs. We have no changing rooms, so people come golf ready, which people have said, well, how many golf days have you lost because of that? We did 260 golf days at Perford last year and 56,000 rounds of golf. So it puts us probably in the top 5 busiest 18-hole golf courses in the country. And, you know, the world of golf is changing. If you look at major brands, sort of like Adidas and Under Armour, a lot of the apparel now is what you'd expect to see someone going shopping in Marks and Spencer's or Tesco's. So I think that has also helped us break another big barrier down and people getting in golf, which is attire and dress code. So at GetGolfing, providing you got a heartbeat, you're welcome. So, you know, we are actually the most inclusive club operator globally. So we work with Edgar, G4D, Golf Foundation, Golf Trust. We're the first golf club in the country to do a willpower event. So that's working with one of the 5 major NGOs, and Stu and his team smashed that event. So, you know, we are looking at ways of not just introducing as many people into golf as possible, but we're also very focused on how do we keep the people that are playing golf in the game longer, so we don't lose them if they've had, for example, a stroke. So we're doing a lot of accessibility audits. At Perford 2 weeks ago, we had one member celebrate his 100th birthday. He still plays golf every day. So, you know, it really highlights just how important having a golf and hospitality venue is in terms of supporting the community and making them feel welcome, really. You know, so golf, we say in GetGolfing, you know, the golf course is for the golfers, but the clubhouse is for everybody. And it's you get that feel when you walk into the clubhouses, and a big point of that was taking down the member board, so you didn't feel you were sat there having your Sunday lunch or your pizza with the captain, you know, in his red jacket looking over you, sort of making sure that you clear your plate. So yeah, they're very welcoming environments, and the team are the same. You know, lots of smiles, lots of happy people working GetGolfing.
So didn't have a photo of Frank Stableford in the background or anything like that.
No, you're more likely to get a picture of a cartoonist dog picture with dog biscuits, to be honest, than what you are a captain's picture. So I mean, most golf courses or most GetGolfing venues have free dog treats. So, you know, we are on a lot of public walkways, so, you know, they're all dog friendly. You come in, and yeah, I mean, we are very commercial. We're under no illusions that humans need to eat and drink as well, so we're not going to feed the whole world for free, unfortunately, but it's those little touch points of making people feel comfortable, and that's what we do better than most.
I was just gonna touch on that. Just, you know, it's an example maybe that lots of facilities would have. I have women who are very nervous about coming to ladies get golfing event or a 9 and wine event, or that first contact where they're not sure, they've signed up, they're sat in the car park, okay, nervous because it'll be their first experience at a golf club. And that to me is horrendous, that someone feels like that. They're that nervous that they're thinking about just turning the engine back on and not coming. So we work really hard with, pre-event phone calls. We will explain exactly. We'll do video walkthroughs so that they know where to walk, literally. I'll walk through with my camera on into the clubhouse, say this is where we're going to be meeting, or we'll meet on the patio or whatever. And it's small things that make a big difference.
It's not a small thing, Stu. It's brilliant. It's an onboarding process, isn't it?
Yeah.
For people who don't know, there's nothing worse. Like, I remember when I was, back when I was a lot younger, but you'd start a new job, wouldn't you? And you'd go into a place and you didn't know where you were going, and nobody would help you, and you felt like such a spare part, didn't you? You felt so embarrassed. Whereas onboarding is actually so important. It must be difficult though, because you are constantly up against the stereotype of a golf club. But whether we like it, we all love the game of golf. We're all involved in it, so we can talk about it openly. But there's a stereotype, there's a stigma attached to golf, and you guys are having to go up against that, aren't you? Because there'll be a lot of people who won't even make it to the car park, no matter how much effort you put in to say, look, it's really, really nice. Please. I used to be in the fitness game. I used to run a gym, and it's very, very similar. We say it's a friendly gym. Just come down, come see us. We'd do the same, on board everybody. But still, people wouldn't come down because of the stereotype that went with it. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's putting on sessions and events that are so new that no one's previously experienced it, so they don't have a preconception. So nearly all of the children who are on our Fun Food and Golf program, they have to be in receipt of free school meals. Most of those will never have come to a golf club before or thought about it. So actually, it's not too difficult for those families and parents, because they have no clue anyway what it should be like or what it might be like.
They expect like Rory McIlroy to be walking around and like Tiger Woods to just be propping up the bar.
They could be thinking they're walking into Augusta, and they won't have a preconceived.
If I can just add to that, though, I think that's why, I used to, I did my PGA as a professional and did a lot of coaching and was on the Euro Pro Tour, etc. That there's a lot of effort from people like the Golf Foundation and England Golf, and in terms of doing what we call first touch programs, so grassroots. And there was a report released not so long ago that the Golf Foundation had introduced 250,000 kids to golf last year. Now, when you look on England Golf website, there's only 47,000 registered junior golfers at clubs. So if they've been introducing 250,000 juniors a year into golf, how comes we've only got 47,000 registered juniors?
Yeah.
So the
They're
gatekeepers,
losing 200,000 a year, aren't they, as well?
But they don't talk about that. So one of the unique things about GetGolfing and being a charity, we don't charge for junior golf. So every individual that's under 18 years of age plays golf for free, and they're not restricted. They're very much part of the membership, full access. So that's never been done before. Giving free junior golf up to that age limit, which is one of our sort of charitable milestones. And on the back of that, I think that's one of the biggest barriers being removed. It's not just a stigma, but it's cost, because historically, you'll go to one of these activations, you'll have a great time, and then as a parent, then you've got to take your child to a golf club of some capacity. And then the reality is you've probably got to know somebody who's already at that golf club. You've got to be proposed second. Then there's a joining fee. And then before you know it, there's too many barriers here. So it takes 20 seconds to join GetGolfing as a junior membership. And GetGolfing as a group represents the largest market share of under 18s golfers in England. So we're creeping up to.
I think I read on your website 15%. Is that
well, we're at 10% at the moment, and growing. And I mean, it's only going to get bigger, isn't it? The more clubs. So actually, we are at 13 golf clubs now. So we had Eastbourne join not so long ago. So as the blueprint of GetGolfing starts to expand in all areas of the country, so we're as far north as Leeds, we're as far south now as Eastbourne. We're typically situated in and around the M25, but that's starting to expand. So we're just providing more opportunities in more rural areas for people to play. And I think it's important that we do a lot for junior golf. We do a lot for people with disabilities. We do a lot for getting ladies into golf. But really, the main focus is it's about families. Whether we focus on juniors or females or over 50s, and so the reality is that's just how we specifically market to that market segment. We really want to be a family destination. So, the son or the daughter may want to come and play golf, but we're now introducing things with like desk hopping for local businesses. So all local business owners can come and use.
Great idea.
Because especially like where I'm in Woking, it's £15 to park. You don't pay to park in our car park. You get great coffee, great service, free internet, great views. Why would you not want that to be your office for the day? So I think the more that we do, which is not golf, like what Stu mentioned, free school meals, just getting people down to venues and just letting them trust that they're in a good space. And then I think golf is changing anyway. There's a lot more what we call non-traditional golfers using driving ranges. And I spoke to a couple not so long ago and said, do you play golf? And they went, no, I go to the driving range. I was like, well, it's the same thing. But there's a perception that if I'm not on a golf course hitting a ball and putting a scorecard in my hand, it's not golf. And I think they're the barriers that we need to break down. Golf shouldn't be a sport linked to performance. It should be a sport linked to fun. And you can go and play football with getting a football, kicking it against the wall, and you could do some method of playing football where people think their perception of golf, I have to be actually on an 18-hole golf course and playing. So that's where Stu and the communities team are really good. They take aspects of golf and turn it into a fun activity. And then actually people by default, oh, well, I must have played golf because I was at a golf course. I'm in an environment and this is actually a bit of fun. Yeah.
Let's talk now about the Festival of Golf then. Just explain a little bit whether it's Stu or Lee, just who's more involved with setting this up, and just explain what it is.
Do you want me to go, Stu?
You go for the headline figures, and I'll tell you how we get the people there.
Yeah, I mean, Festival of Golf actually started 2 years ago, really, as a standalone women's golf tournament at a golf club that I was previously managing. And it was born from, I was doing a lot of events with the PGA North Region. We'd just done a record prize fund for a 3-day North Region PGA event, £46,000 sponsorship we raised for a prize fund, which is very significant in the North Region of the PGA. And I said, well, this is crazy. There was 100 people playing and not one female. So I was like, okay, well, let's do something for ladies. Reached out to some sponsors, managed to get £20,000 prize fund. Little did I know at that point, that was the largest prize fund in the PGA's history for women's golf. So, how old is the PGA? Hundreds of years old, all of us combined, plus probably another zero. And we'd managed to break that record with little to no effort. And I had people like Alison Nicholas there, LET players, LET Access, PGA members, 46 females playing. But it was just a fun day. We had juniors playing, we had lady members playing, and broke down all the barriers, come down, play, have a bit of fun, and obviously a good prize fund. So it started then, and then one of the reasons for me moving from the club that I was at is that Ed was already doing a lot of great stuff around juniors. And unfortunately, once I joined, we sat down, did lots of meetings, and he sent an email on the Thursday to myself and the other senior managers saying, look, I'm convinced I really want to do this Women's Golf Championship. So yeah, let's go ahead, let's do it. Let's sign a 3-year contract with the Ladies European Tour Access Series. but a couple of conditions. It's got to be in line with GetGolfing principles, and more importantly, you've got to engage the communities and the members. So he sent out on the Thursday. Unfortunately, passed away on the Saturday.
Oh.
So it's more than just a golf tournament for us. It's also about Ed's legacy. Like Stuart mentioned earlier, he played for England. So we reached out to LET Access. We've signed a contract. And within the LET Access event, there is ability. It's for developing young female elite amateurs, which obviously what Ed was. So we're the amateur part of the tournament that's running is named after Ed. So it's the Ed Richardson Memorial Trophy, and we've got WAGA approval on that. So it adds to world ranking amateur events. So it's a great opportunity for, it can be female juniors, could be elite females to play in a ladies European tour setting in England, because like what we did in the one day event, the tournament, the WGC part of it for the females is an £80,000 prize fund. It's the biggest prize fund in Let Access history. So 14 years. And the mantra is participation, not sort of spectating. So it's the only tournament that's ever happened in a professional setting where the pros will play up till 6 o'clock, and then amateurs can go and play on the golf course after at 6 o'clock. And we are running night golf every evening. And I guess sort of circling back to how it's become the festival of golf. So, yeah, I mean, there's like loads of fun activities, and Stu can touch on that in a bit. But we started off with the 3-day tournament and the Pro-Am. And then through our relationship with Edgar, we launched the G4D series in England. So that was for doing disabilities tournaments. And then Tony Bennett, the chairman, reached out and said, Lee, what do you think about doing the first female disabled golf event? Never been done. There's 300 registered disabled females globally. And I was like, well, that's a small number. Shall we do something for ladies? And I was like, yeah, I'll tell you what, well, why don't we do it at the same week as the Women's Golf Championship? Because the stands will be up, the crowds will be there, all the tee boxes. It's really going to be a great setting. And just through the conversations there with Tony and I and Dan Luckin, our sales director, and we're like, oh, we're creating a bit of a festival for ladies golf here. And then Dan and I sort of sat down and said, well, our mantra is not just ladies, our mantra is families. So let's start building out a whole week of fun activities. So on the Monday, we have a junior open, and the junior open will have over 300 juniors playing. As far as I know, it's the biggest junior open that's ever happened, because we like to do things big and bold, as you can probably tell. And then we have different.
Just to give some scale on that, the biggest junior open that I've ever run had 126 golfers playing in it in one day, and that was an effort to try and get 126 golfers on the golf course in one day. So they have 300. I know, slacking. That was it.
Yeah.
So,
I think the unique thing is.
It's
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I did a bit of work previously with Northern Golf Junior Tour, which is Jason Budd, who runs
Jason
a great
has been on the podcast before. Yep.
Yeah. So he's had a couple of tournaments from a previous club, and he's got a really good way of getting as many juniors on the golf course at varied abilities, whether it's 18 holes, 9 holes, 6 holes. One of the benefits that Mill Green's got, it's got a really good 9-hole par 3. So the objective is to get everybody out on the golf course in some capacity, having a bit of fun, and then all finishing and enjoying the environment. And that's an event where you've got all of the spectator stands will be up, all the tee signage will be up. So it's kind of consistent with a DP World Tour or an Aramco Series event in terms of the branding that's going to be up that week. And yeah, in a really good setting for the juniors to come and enjoy that environment and getting a little bit of taste to GetGolfing. Now, is 300 a lot? Yes, but when you have close to 4,000 active junior members, it's not even 10%.
Yeah.
So, we're pretty confident in those numbers. I'm sure we could do a junior open every single day and get the participation, because there's a lot of support for junior opens at the elite level for those that are sort of 15, 16, 18 handicaps. When you look at Faldo Series and you look at Daily Mail and stuff like that. But there isn't a lot focusing on fun and just come down, play. It's a game at the end of the day. It's sport, and we don't want people coming to the Junior Open, not necessarily, you know, everyone's competitive deep down, but we want them to come because they're going to have fun and enjoy it, not because, well, if I can't win, then I'm not going to enjoy it. And that's where I guess the synergy between myself and our team and Stu and his team, that, you know, we sell a lot of commercial opportunities to then create other opportunities for the communities team to, I guess, go out and drum up more participation and really increase our exposure as a charity. And I don't think that's enough, because that's a bit transactional and there's no emotive behind that. What we do really well are watching.
Yeah, just give us the dates on when it is, and then we'll get Stuart's take on his involvement in it as well. So when does it take place?
So 26th of August till the 1st of September at the club at Mill Green in Hertfordshire. And the Junior Opens on the Monday, the 26th. But it'd be free admission for all the juniors to come along, you know, watch all the Ladies European Tour players. We've got British Long Drive, we've got Single Shot Challenge, you've got free coaching, barbecue, DJ. If you imagine live golf, but louder and a bit more fun. But the main difference, the main difference for us is, you know, we've all been to the Open, we've all been to live golf, we've all been to lots of different tournaments. But if I would be very surprised if you can name me one Ladies European Tour event or one DP World Tour event that any golfer can play the same course on the same day.
Yeah, no chance.
And what's your involvement? And what's your involvement with all this, then, Stuart? How have you helped?
Okay, so we started about a couple of months ago, and it's about engaging the local community in the event, working with the council, with other organisations, universities, all that sort of stuff. We have a big programme of adopting local schools, special schools, primary schools, and it's raising awareness of the actual event. But I'll be honest with you, most would not come and watch ladies playing golf. Okay, so we need to get them to Mill Green before that event. And we've been running moms and daughters sessions, dads and lads. We have our ladies 9 and wine programs where we pretty much bribe women to come and play golf because we do wine tasting on one of the holes.
Alcohol-free wine?
No, certainly not. It's pretty high quality. Yeah, it's cool. And next week, I don't know if you're aware, but it's This Girl Can Month. We've got 300 girls coming up to Mill Green from Brilliant. 14 different schools. And each one of them is leaving with an invite to come to the Festival of Golf, hit some more balls, play some golf, and meet some players. And we're hoping to arrange that some of the players will go and visit the schools, and the schools can adopt that player for the week. Cool. The player go in, maybe it's during the holidays, so the timescales, we probably won't be able to get them to go and visit the school, but they'll have a connection and someone to follow. Because unless you've got that excitement of adopting a player in a competition, you know, I don't think it'll be enough. But the fan zone and all the peripherals, the foot golf, the free sessions, it'll be amazing. And one
thing that strikes me straight away is and you alluded to it earlier, you mentioned about going to the Open Championship and things like that, is are you then going back to them and saying, look, why don't you do it the way that we're doing it? We're getting a lot more, you know, almost, you know, because it's the same as this podcast. We do a lot of podcasts whereby we give advice to people. And the last question I'll give to both of you is, what would your advice be to someone who is watching this podcast? But there'll be people who'll be watching this and going, you know, and I'm asking the question in my head going, why hasn't someone done this before?
It's change, isn't it?
Yeah. It is. It goes to that old school thing of just pushing barriers and pushing boundaries and having an organization that will let you do stuff. You know, the default normally would be, oh no, we've got to think about that. But I can't emphasize enough. The GetGolfing way is do it. It
requires buy-in, doesn't it, guys? It requires buy-in, and it required buy-in to Ed's vision. And you two have got it. I think we've all got it, because Steve will tell you, I've always been a big advocate for change in golf. I've worked in golf for a long time, but I work in other sports as well, and that enables me to see things from the outside looking in. And sometimes I look at it and think, oh my goodness, it's so obvious what you could do to change to make things better. But it doesn't happen because, well, we've always done it this way. What has been, can I ask, what has the reaction been like in the local community since you've talked about Mill Green in Hertfordshire, since you've taken over? And especially because I've got a funny relationship with local press. Some are brilliant, some are absolutely, I'll even write a story about a local super. I'm heavily involved in motorsport, and there's a young disabled lad who races. He lives in Wokingham. I'm in Bracknell. Wokingham's next door, as you'll know, Lee. And he races, and he races at quite a reasonably high level in British motorsport, and he does very well. And the amount of times I've written the article for the Bracknell and Wokingham News, sent it to the sports editor. I said, look, if you can edit, you can do whatever you want. Here's what I've written, but change it. Here's some photos. You can do whatever you want. This guy's just won a race and he's disabled. You know, he races in the British Endurance Championships. That's a decent level. I get nothing at all. Absolutely nothing. What's the relationship like in the community with businesses and local press to what you guys are doing?
Yeah, I go
Yeah.
local press. I do something similar. I pick out the pictures for them. I send them to them. I write the articles, and nothing much happens. It's because local press is not local. Like, it's a big conglomerate that's owned by a company in Norfolk, and they have all the Hertfordshire papers and media things, and it's just not happening. You've got to get out, knock on doors. You've got to go to council meetings. You've got to go to forums, community groups. You've literally got to go. It's literally like visiting village halls sometimes, okay, to spread the word and get the message across. And to be fair, the Welling Hatfield Council, which is the local council, are supportive. The Lord Lieutenant of Hertfordshire is supportive. The mayors are supportive. They're not necessarily golfers, but they get what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And they attend our events, and then that adds a little bit of something special. But in terms of media coverage, very limited, I would say. But adopting
that's traditional.
local
That's your traditional media. What about Lee? Whereby, if you've gone down the social media route, have you tried to do something that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're quite fortunate. You know, why ladies golf? It's far more relatable, and you know, they've got a more central approach in terms of they will go into the local schools, they will help out, they are accessible. Where if you compare that to like your challenge tour people, they're just less relatable. You know, a lot of the females that are playing in the event, you're looking at 2.5 to 3 million followers between that network of female golfers that are going to be there. So you got 134 females representing 30 different countries. So we've got people coming from America all the way over to Australia. So from in terms of the exposure, I think social media is really going to are going to be our main source of getting the message out there. My experience, it's changed, like we alluded to earlier, that people will support these things out of the fear of missing out. But I think we've got to do year one to prove concept. And then once we prove concept, I think we'll get the buy-in. But the fortunate thing is GetGolfing is a big enough entity to do that. If it was a standalone golf club, it'd be a lot more challenging. But, you know, with 13 golf clubs, you know, a big growing charity. And I think we've had a lot of support from sponsors. We've got some real good commercial sponsors that are supporting and making this possible. But they're supporting the Festival of Golf for the right principles, because we have 4 key activations, which is obviously giving back to the community, the environment, net zeros. We've got a lot of great CSR around the tournament. I think the most important thing is we need people to come, enjoy the Festival of Golf, talk about it, have a great experience, and then organically this thing will grow into hopefully that yearly thing that everyone really looks forward to. And just on that point, the reason we're able to do the biggest prize fund ever is because we are doing it differently. So traditionally on the Ladies European Tour with the Access Series, it's 40,000 euros prize funds. In year one, we have doubled the average price. And the reason we're able to do that is because of participation. People, I agree with Stu, watching golf's pretty boring. But will I go to Mill Green 2 hours before my tee time to watch some really good golfers and then go on the same golf course and go, well, I watched somebody hit a 7-iron from there, I'm going to do the same. And same as when you're at Wentworth, it's great what the Golf Foundation's doing, but why not open up Wentworth at 6 o'clock in the evening to play the same golf course? And we don't do 18 holes. We have our own concept of 6 holes. So it's 6 players at 6 o'clock and you play 6 holes and you got 60 minutes to get round. So we're trying to engage the people that are at Top Golf, the people at the Trackman driving ranges to go, well, look, let's go down, let's try a bit of golf on the golf course. And that's where we're trying to capture the non-traditional golfers. But yeah, I think the media will come on board when they feel the risk of being left behind. I don't feel that we can rely on the media, traditional media, to help us promote this. And as a group, we have 200,000 registered golfers on our database anyway. The power of one, if we get them engaged through podcasts and more of these type of shows, which is great for Stu and I to have a voice to talk to people, that, you know, the word will spread pretty quickly on social media. But I think that's all really, really good, but we've got to deliver. And that's what we're really, really good at. We're really good at creating experiences so people go home with a smile on their face.
Right. We're obviously coming towards the end of the show now. So just a couple of things then, which we just want to wrap up with then. So first of all, I'll read out the names of the clubs which you do have as part of the Get Golfing network. So you've got Annecy Golf Club, which is in Warwickshire. By the way, that's one of the golf courses I played at when I was a child.
Excellent.
So I remember that very well. The Arkley, which is in Barnet. Cobtree Manor, which is in Maidstone, another golf club I played.
Excellent.
Eastbourne Downs in Eastbourne. Hampton Court Palace, which is in Surrey. Mill Green, obviously, which we're well aware of. North Downs, which is in Surrey. Perford Lakes, which of course will have the Festival of Golf. Which the Festival of Golf is at Mill Green, which obviously Lee is involved.
You can
with.
say Perford Lakes is number one in Get Golfing.
Okay, we'll go with that one then. Red Libbets, which of course, which you mentioned, which was the pioneering golf club within the Get Golfing. That's another which I played as well, so that's another one I know. Sherford Oaks, which we mentioned earlier, Worley Park, Tadcaster. So not just all down the south. Tadcaster, which is up in Leeds in Yorkshire, and Winter Hill as well. So just finally then for you on this point then, Stuart, if there's someone watching this podcast and they're looking at those golf clubs there and they've heard what both yourself and Lee have said about it, if they're looking at this and they're going, we'd like to do something like that, what would your advice be to another golf club to say, look at what we're doing, this is what you can do?
Yeah, so that was my one of my statements that I made to Ed right at the very beginning. I said, if we can smash this, what we want is other golf clubs to be copying us. That would be the true measure. And I've been going 3 years now, 3.5 years, and only just at the Wheel Power event 2 weeks ago down at Perford, I had a golf club come and approach me and say, this is amazing. How can we get it at our golf club? Okay. It's inspiring that can happen. Okay. I would say, get along to a Get Golfing venue. Check out the What's On page. If you had a look at the Mill Green What's On page, somewhere, is it down there somewhere? Yeah,
the website's down there.
Yeah, okay. Go to the Mill Green one. Check out the What's On. You'll see moms and daughters. You'll see dads and lads. You probably won't see our Fun Food and Golf program because that is a very specific invite-only targeted group. But I'd say to them this story. I was down in Cobtree last week. We launched our Fun Food and Golf program. We had our head chef, Andrew, down there because he takes a personal pride in the food we give, the breakfast and the lunch. And he did a pizza making activity with the children. It was amazing. They had a great time. Cooked up their pizzas. We were finishing up at the end. And there's a young lad, a young Ukrainian boy, actually, wrapping some pizza in a tissue and trying to put it in his pocket. And we saw this. I didn't say anything. Andrew just slid over to him and said, "Oh, you okay?" He said, "Oh, I'm just taking this for my sister." Okay, who wasn't on the camp and the setup. Andrew nearly cried, but held himself together, went in and cooked 3 pizzas and sent them back with that lad and his mom when she came to pick them up. Okay,
Oh,
so
brilliant.
my main mission to other golf clubs is do more for your local communities. Whatever it is, engage people who aren't your normal traditional users, and you can do something really special. That's what I'd say to them.
Fantastic story. And finally, then with you, Lee, then anyone who wants to get involved with the Festival of Golf, how can they go about doing that?
Yeah, I think go to the GetGolfing website. It's constantly being updated with new activities. Everything that's happening is on there. So you can reach myself. You can also reach Gary, who's the GM over at the club at Mill Green. So our emails are there. And I think the final message: no matter how big or little you want your involvement to be, the more good people that we work with, the better for everyone. So just reach out and, never let a conversation pass you by. There's always an opportunity there. But you're not going to really achieve those if you sit back and don't do anything. So reach out, and we'd love to work with as many people as possible.
All right, fantastic. Right, just a quick mention then, a podcast which we've got coming up. We're going to do one in a couple of weeks' time with different subjects which we're going to be covering over the weeks and months ahead. We're going to do one on rules, caddying, sponsorship. We might do one on that, junior golf clothing. So all lots of different subjects. But really, really appreciate both Ian and Lee coming on this evening. Sorry, Stuart and Lee coming on this evening.
I'm here.
You're there.
Who's Ian?
Yeah, you're always here.
I didn't see him on the podcast.
Yeah.
No.
Fantastic for you coming along, and inspiration as well. Not just inspiration for myself in the sense that it gives me ideas about how I can help with some of the work which I'm doing as well. I'm sure Ian thinks exactly the same thing as well with some of the work that he does with golf as well. So thanks very much for coming on the program this evening, and we shall catch up with you soon on the Progress Junior Golf Podcast. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you, everybody.